Hello, welcome to another episode of PM Tutors PMP training series. In today's lesson, we'll be examining the management tool called Earned Value Management. I'm your learning companion, Abdullah Olaniyo. In today's lesson, we will learn how to track project performance using the earned value formulas. We will define the key terms: planned value or PV, earned value or EV, actual costs or AC, as well as look at the meaning of budget at completion or BAC. We will learn how to recommend corrective actions using the to complete performance index. Finally, we will use these three parameters to make project forecasts. They are estimate at completion or EAC, estimate to complete or ETC, and variance at completion or VAC. The basic goal of earned value management is to save the project from overrunning its approved budget by constantly comparing actual project information to the baseline and recommending appropriate changes. Changes may be corrective or preventive actions. Note that the baseline is the original plan plus the approved changes on the project. Recall that earned value management is the key tool used in cost control, and this is a big part of the PMP exam. You will meet about 2 or 3 questions on earned value management in the exam. Earned value management is a project performance measurement technique that integrates scope, cost, and time data. It involves comparing actual project data to the cost performance baseline to see how well the project is meeting scope, time, and cost goals. This helps in figuring out if a change is required on the project and when and where to apply the change to avoid cost and schedule overruns. There are 3 key parameters used in earned value calculations. These are PV or planned value. This is the amount of work that we should have accomplished according to the plan. This is also known as budgeted cost of work scheduled or BCWS. EV or earned value is the amount of work that has been done so far. It is also known as budgeted cost of work performed or BCWP. The actual cost or AC is the total cost of the project so far. It is also known as the actual cost of work performed or ACWP. So for example, if we have a project to build an 8-kilometer length of road in 8 weeks at 1 kilometer per week and 1,000 naira per kilometer, at the end of the 3rd week, the PV will be 3,000 naira. If at the end of the 3rd week, however, we've built 4 kilometers of road, then our EV will be, yes, you guessed right, 4,000 naira. And if we are so efficient on the project, we might have spent 3,500 naira till date. This means that our actual cost on the project will be 3,500 naira. The final term that will be used in our earned value calculations is the budget at completion or BAC. The budget at completion is the total amount the baseline scope of work will cost. This is the same as the project budget. To calculate the planned value, there might be some scenario-based questions on the exam where you will be given the total project budget and you will need to find the planned value. To achieve this, use the BAC. This is the same as the project budget, and the planned percent complete. The planned value is derived by multiplying the BAC by the planned percent complete. For example, a project to build 5 houses in 10 months with a total budget of 15 million naira. Parametrically, this is equivalent to building 1 house in 2 months, 2 houses in 4 months, 3 houses in 6 months, and so on. Also, by definition, the BAC in this example is 15 million naira. Now, after the 6th month, the planned percent complete is 3, which is the number of houses to have been built for that number of months, divided by the total scope. This gives us 60%. The planned value is therefore 60% multiplied by 15 million naira, or our PV is equal to 9 million naira. That was fairly straightforward, wasn't it? Now try the following example. This will give you a feel of how this formula is used. You have 10 seconds to figure this out. To calculate the end value, we use a similar formula to that for the planned value. However, we replace the planned percent complete by the actual percent complete. So in the example we had earlier, we have a project to build 5 houses in 10 months. In the 6 months, however, due to some unplanned risks, we have built only 2 houses. Our actual percent complete is therefore the number of houses built so far divided by the total number of houses we are supposed to build altogether. That is 2/5. The end value is thus 40% of 15 million, or 6 million. So our EV is 6 million naira. The end value formulas are used to figure out both our cost performance and our schedule performance. To figure out if we are ahead of schedule or not, and especially by how much, we use the schedule variance, or SV. The schedule variance is the difference between the end value and the planned value. So SV is equal to EV minus PV. If that value is positive, we are ahead of schedule. On the other hand, if it is negative, then we are behind schedule. Now, the schedule variance gives us an extent of the variance between planned and actual. However, if we need to compare between different projects in our portfolio, for example, a more useful parameter is the Schedule Performance Index, or SPI. The SPI is derived by dividing the earned value by the planned value. So if the SPI is less than 1, we are behind schedule. If it is greater than 1, we are ahead of schedule. We have similar sets of formulas used to figure out our cost performance. The cost variance, or CV, is the difference between the end value and the actual costs. If it is greater than 0, then we are performing well and are within budget. However, if it is less than 0, then we have spent more than we have earned. That raises a red flag as we are over budget. Similarly, there is the Cost Performance Index, or CPI. The CPI is derived by dividing the earned value by the actual cost. A cost performance index that is less than 1 tells us that our project is above budget, while one that is greater than 1 tells us that we are performing within budget. Now that we have figured out our performance and we have seen whether we are within or above budget, we need to be able to determine what cost performance will lead us to the finish line. The finish line here could either be the original budget at completion, or BAC, or for projects that have already had cost overruns, the estimate at completion, or EAC. We'll look at the EAC shortly. The To Complete Performance Index, or TCPI, tells us how well the project will need to perform to stay on budget, whether it's the original budget, the BAC, or the newly forecasted one, the EAC. The TCPI is BAC minus EV divided by BAC minus AC. Note that this index tells us how we must perform to deliver the project within the original budget. We will look at the formula for delivering the project within the new forecast, that is the EAC, before the end of this video. Take some time to go through the end value formulas. For the exam, ensure you note them down on the blank piece of paper you are given before you start. This table has been extracted from the book Earth First PMP. So we have learned how to determine the project's performance using the end value formulas. We have also used the formula to determine how we should perform in order to deliver our project within the original budget. Next, we will look at formulas used in forecasting so that we can make appropriate corrective actions or preventive actions to salvage our projects. The next set of formulas we will learn will be used in forecasting on future project performance. Terms you will learn include EAC, or estimate at completion, ETC, or estimate to complete, and VAC, or variance at completion. We will also look at the second model of the TCPI, that is the to complete performance index based on the estimate at completion. The earned value management formulas we have learned tell us the state of health of the project. They can also be used to forecast on future project performance and what changes, that is corrective or preventive actions, to be made to improve project performance. Recall that forecasts are used in controlling costs. Forecasts involve the use of earned value to come up with a prediction of what the project will look like financially when it is complete. The key component of forecasts is the estimate at completion, or EAC. The EAC is the total cost when the project is complete. The objective of the EAC formula is to predict what the total project will cost when it is complete. The estimate at completion is a tool used to answer this question. Okay, we've had this performance level. What will it now cost us to finish the project? There are three ways to answer this question. First, if you assume that the past performance has been a one-off and that we will start performing at the original planned rate, then our EAC will be a sum of the actual cost and the original budget minus our current earned value. If, however, we assume that the current performance will remain constant, possibly due to some new project scenario, then our EAC will be the original budget divided by the CPI. The third model is a combination of the first model and the cost performance and schedule performance index, or indices. This helps to improve the efficiency of the estimate. Once we calculate the estimate at completion, it is possible to calculate the estimate to complete. The estimate to complete is the total cost of the remaining project work or activities. It is the difference between the estimate at completion and the actual cost. That is, ETC equals EAC minus AC. The variance at completion tells us the difference in the amount we plan to spend and the amount we will eventually spend when the project is complete. This helps us to paint a picture to top management on how the project will come in. VAC is the difference between BAC and EAC. Now, the second model of the TCPI. Recall that there are two models for the to complete performance index. One is based on a project performance that is within the original budget. We looked at this earlier. The second model is used when the project has gone above budget. It is based on the estimate at completion. The TCPI based on the EAC is derived by dividing the difference between the original budget and the earned value by the difference between the actual cost and the estimated cost at completion. That is, TCPI equals BAC minus EV divided by EAC minus AC. This formula tells us how we should perform cost-wise in order to deliver the project within the new estimates, the estimate at completion. Whew, that is a lot of materials we've covered in this episode. But not to worry, they are not complex formulas. They just require getting used to and understanding their principles. In particular, recall how to calculate the planned value and earned value for questions where scenarios are painted. These form the basis of most of the earned value formulas. It's been an interesting topic to discuss. Thank you. Bye.